Captain's Log, September 19th, 2025. Hello, I'm Kitten Vile. Good on you, you've made it to Friday. How was my week? It was not that bad. Bit of an interesting evening, as of Friday, or as Friday. So, sibling's birthday, so we had a virtual call to celebrate, since I live several miles away from them. Anywho, my mother it was like a virtual pizza party. She got me pizza, and alongside that, there was this like onion garlic dip, or garlic, it's some dipping sauce for the crust, I assume. Anyway, I had tried it, and it was far too creamy for my liking. But like the one time I tried something new, just did not like it. But I knocked the box over, and it like spilt on my floor, and somehow hit the ground with such force, and at such an angle that it like ranch or whatever the hell it is was on the underside of my chair. So I had to clean that up, and my room vaguely smells of ranch or garlic, whatever. Tedious, but fun evening overall, aside from that. Anyhow, this week's movies, 2 of them. So, I watched The Long Walk and Harold and Maude. The Long Walk I just decided to watch because I wanted to see what all the hubbub was about. However, did you watch The Long Walk, Captain? I pirated it. Bum. Shocker. Captain Vile pirates movies. Now, since it's so early on in the film's release, it was canned footage, which had the entire film be vaguely purple and shaky, because they must have sent a rookie out because it was really shaky. I was able to make out... excuse me. Had dinner recently, so I had soda recently, so I'm burping now. Anyway, I was able to make out the film, and it was pretty good. I gave it 3 stars, and, quote, every character is well acted to the point it seems like they killed a dog in front of them before shooting the scene, but I struggle to relate to them. It's no fault of the film, I'm simply not a person in the main cast. So it's, if you are unaware, brutal film where, like, they shoot the boys on camera. Like, CGI, whatever, not actually shoot them. Wouldn't that be a movie? I guess that'd be a snuff film, but... I'll get into this later, because of what happens in Harold and Maude, but... Has there ever been a movie... I mean, there's if you look to some events a few years ago, yeah, people have died on sets of movies when guns are being acted with, but have they ever just actually shot someone to make a movie? Anyway, put a pin in that. I don't want to lose my thought process on The Long Walk. Not a bad movie, but it's... The characters team up, and I wouldn't. Because it's essentially a battle royale. One winner only. So, just don't team up. Just keep moving forward. Keep walking. Don't team up with anyone. It's gonna hurt more when they die. Yeah, it's cold. And even then, like, once you get down to the last couple, you can probably just take a swing at someone and they'll go down from exhaustion and won't get back up. That's pretty immoral. But does it say anything in the rules you can't do that? Like, that's pretty cutthroat, but you win. It'd probably be encouraged, actually, with how the major talks. Anyway, not a bad movie. Enjoyed it. I'd say it could be better, but definitely it would have been a much better... It would have been a much different film, but if you ask me, a better film if they had a villain amongst the cast, rather than just have the entire system be a villain that preys upon the desperate. Anyway. The problem is it's too abstract a villain. No, I need a specific character to be at fault, whatever. Anyway, Next up, Harold and Maude, which is my father's pick for our weekly movie discussion. Dark comedy, so I gave it 3.5 stars. It's well acted and shot, but what stands out most are the comedic moments in the soundtrack. Very absurd, but also very fun. So, first impressions, it's got quite a hook. So there's a running gag, I say loosely, of the main character basically trying to kill himself. He gets away with it, and he just survives. Like, he shoots himself in the head and just cuts to the next scene and he's out and about, so it's probably just he's planning to, but he's definitely doing them. Anyway, the first one, he hangs himself. But he actually, like, the actor is hanging above the ground. And that got me wondering, how do they do that? Because it's reminded me of a scene from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where, if you don't know what that is, it's a show about where bad people do bad things. One of these characters is a businessman. One episode, he loses all his money, so tries to hang himself. And he just is actually just, like, hanging there, but still alive and talking to the other characters, complaining that he's not dead. And, like, trying to convince them not to stop him, where none of them are making a move to prevent him from doing it. He's just hanging there, and they're looking at him, bemused. But anyway, as I said, the actors are physically hanging there, so how do they do that? They probably are, like, it's made to look like they're hanging by their neck, but are actually being held up by their shoulders, kind of harness, I would imagine. But what if, and this goes back to the pin I said earlier, what if they just hang the actor? Like, just actually authentically hang them, but they get him down after a few minutes. When the scene is done, they get him down there. But they just give him, like, hazard pay or something. Because, I don't know, Brendan Fraser, he was, like, was asphyxiated? He actually was, like, unconscious after being hung on a set at one point. So that must be how they do it. Probably, yeah. But they just have, like, it's a lot of precautions. They have, like, medics on standby or something. But it's fun. Anyway, how was my week overall? It's been long, let me tell you. I've been doubling down my efforts to finish the animation because the end of September is upon us. The Ides of September are approaching, and I am nearly done with it, I will be honest. Gotta finish I don't wanna tip my hat too much and be like, oh, well, I just finished the twist and then the reveal and then the surprise villain, kind of like, no. But there's one simpler scene, and then another simpler scene, and a more complex scene, and a simpler scene. Little caveats may appear during production, truth be told, as one is shown up right now, because I gotta do a specific angle shot that I may have to scrap and do a different, easier to produce angle, just so I don't have, because I've been working on this for long enough, I just gotta get it out. But it is enjoyable. My pen broke while working on it. I'll explain this later or in more depth during, like, the captain's commentary. But when I bought my tablet, it came with 2 pens. One broke, that was used for 6 years, and I'm using the secondary pen that they sent me for the first time, and, like, all of it. So it's interesting. It's like feeling it's like using the old pen. But the first few scenes, I drew them a little sharper than I had intended to, because I wasn't used to the pen pressure yet. Because it was like, just, it was new, it was different. I will actually allow my moment to have a drink. Because I just had an hour and 20-minute conversation with my wow, cranky, the liquid sloshing back into the bottle and something louder than the sip. Anyway. Digital birthday party. Lasted a while. So I've been speaking through that, and now I'm speaking through this. I think I've mentioned this. I think I mentioned this last episode. It's a little hard to keep track of what I specifically mentioned in each show. I don't have the transcript with me. It's somewhat insane what I do. I think I've mentioned this to my father during one of our calls, and I'm just like, I'm muttering to myself, and people find this entertaining. I mean, they will find it as like a sleep aid as well. I find that amusing. But that gave me an idea. This is essentially a podcast, but it's 25 or so minutes. It's as long as I kind of want to talk for. And the end of September is coming up again. Now, no one wanted an end of August like viewer mail show, but I do have an interesting idea for an end of September, which, funny enough, is our next show. Looking at it. Because next Friday is October, so it would be that. Funny that, less Fridays in September, but it's whatever. What if I have a show, end of month, each month, where I just talk for as long as I can about whatever the hell I want. I mean, I already talked about whatever the hell I want, but like, I just ramble on. Because I did. I was going somewhere with this and then got sidetracked. I had the idea for a podcast called Tangents, where it's 1 hour. At the start of the hour, I have a topic, and I talk and go on tangents and tangents, and it spirals, and then at the end of the hour, I log the last topic. So the name of the episode would be the starting topic and the ending topic. I swear I've spoken about this before, actually. Maybe I should have like a log of like what have we talked about, just to avoid repetition. I don't know. Maybe I do lose track because I've got free extended conversations. This weekly call with my father, and everyday insane ramblings to myself. And sometimes I get what I've said where confused. So I've definitely mentioned this idea to my father. I might just do that for the end of the month. Just see how long I can talk to myself, essentially. That will probably help people, because, as said previously, some people use it as a sleep aid. How about like you don't have to get an advertisement between episodes, if they are advertisements. I assume there are. There could not be. There probably isn't. Anyway, but there's no... It's just like a 45 minutes, or if it's Captain Vile talks for as long as you want to about a particular subject, it's like, let's see, the beginning subject is the Arctic, and the ending subject is the Arctic, and it's 4 hours long. He talked about the Antarctica for 4 hours. I could just go on. It's a cool environment. Underutilized in horror. Seriously, go read The Terror. And then go watch The Terror. And then go complain that the character's death is far worse in The Terror than the book. Because that's always how it ends up to be. But, like, I don't want to spoil The Terror. I don't want to spoil the book. I don't want to say The Terror over and over again. They have the same kind of fun flair that adds to his personality, some final bit of characterization before he's gone from the story. But they could have done it so much better in the show than in the book. And even then, there's something to do in the show that they don't do in the book. That is a little, that kind of takes the wind out of their sails, ironically, because they don't have any wind in their sails. They're stranded in the Arctic. Oh, whatever could next show's topic be? No, I wonder. That'll probably come up, though. I talk long enough. There's bound to be some subjects. That being the Wriggler, submarines, the Arctic, or just movies I watch. And they'll probably be related to the previously listed topics. I just gotta have them. They make a Batman movie that takes place in the Arctic with Riddler and the villain as the villain, and ooh. That'll be, like, directed and written by Captain Vile. You don't say! I had an inkling he was behind this one. Ironically, it's a bit hot. Oh, you may have noticed here, this is a little redundant because of the background noise I already edited into it being like icy wind and fog and the ocean. But you may notice my mic is a little clearer, and that is because my fan is off. So I have a fan on 24/7 because I grew up in Texas, and it's better to sleep on fire than... No, wait, I got it mixed up. You sleep with a fan on no matter what, is what you do in Texas. That's just how you live. Even when it's, like, cold, you have the fan on, because still air feels weird. And I got still air. The fan broke. I got another fan, but it's off during recordings, and not during day. But I want to have it on now, but I don't want to have it on during the recording. I may have to have it on during that, like, monthly show. Ooh, I don't want to. I don't want to, because I want to stick steadfast in that one rule to make the audio sound a little bit better, because my mic could be better, but I don't want to get a new one. I'd rather just get rid of the background noise and make the mic sound worse than it actually is. I had another talking point. This can end off the show. Why not? So, if you do not know, I essentially live in the outskirts of town. I live... How England works, if you don't know, I live in England. There are cities with a road leading out to other cities, and along that road there'll be a village. I live between the village and the city. I'm equal distance between the two of them. I have no business in the village, but I can get there as easily as I can get to the city. By walking. I spend a lot of time walking a lot of miles. And when you do that, you're bound to find, every now and then, some change. A little feather in your cap along the trip. You wouldn't find that on the bus or something. But over time, over a series of miles, a series of weeks, you'll find a lot of change, and it'll add up. And it did. And recently, this week, I stumbled upon 20 pence. I was like, oh, that's a large amount. Typically it's like 10 pence, or even just one measly pence, or those particularly large 2-pence coins, because they're strangely large for 2 pence. It's weird. I digress. I was like, I wonder how much I've accumulated. And it was about £2, which is not bad for change, but it's a lot of change. So I decided, hey, little treat to go with my movie-going experience. Because this was on Monday, the day I watched Long Walk. So I was like, I'm out and about, I'll go to the store. I mean, I had to go home to get the rest of the change that I had accumulated, and then go back to the store. But it's, like, whatever. Walk 2 miles for free stuff. Why not? Because it was free candy. Did I say that? Yeah, I use it by candy. So, I'd gotten £2, so I wanted to buy 2 bags of candy. I probably could have waited, but I mean, like, whatever. That was the fruits of my patience, not labor, because there's no labor in just walking around. Anyway, I am stuttering over my goddamn words. Give me a moment. Apologies. I get my candy, go to the checkout. This is important to the story. I was determined to not pay using any method other than the coins I had accumulated. So I left my wallet at home. So I used the self-checkout, and the self-checkout has 6 cash and card options, and no, free cash and card options and free exclusively card options. 6 total, free on each row. I go to line up for the cash option. I go to the first machine that's available, which is coincidentally the first machine in the row. It's out of order. I walk over to the second machine in the row and scan my items and put my coins in. Now, 2 of the coins I had were 50p coins, and then I had several other coins that made up a pound. So I had like 15 coins, 2 of which were just essentially $50. The way I could have avoided this whole thing through a bit more careful planning, but frankly, I just dumped all of them in at once because it had a hole large enough that you could do that for convenience. But definitely could have planned it out better. I had somehow put it in the order that there was 36 pence needed, but I was left holding the 50p coin. And I mean, that's obviously enough, but the machine itself must not have had enough change to give me, if I was using that, I had to use a smaller coin, which I didn't have. I had exclusively this one coin left from paying. So I put it in, it pops out in the change thing. I put it in, pops out in the change thing, pattern. So I just kind of stand there, and I'm like, well that's not good. I look over, and there is a line for me. And there's not much I can do. It's the machine, not me. So I look over to the last machine that people can use, and it's currently being used by this woman who has made herself very much at home, talking on the phone while not scanning her items. So at the very least, people can direct their ire at her, not me, but long enough had passed that an attendant had been like, okay, what's going on here? And I put the coin in the slot, it came out of the slot, and then I explained that it was too large. So they were like, okay, they got their walkie-talkie, and then a few, prefaces, minutes later, someone else came by, presumably a manager of sorts. Anyway, the same action needed to be demonstrated. I put the coin in the slot, it pops out of the slot, and no transaction was finished. So they scratch their head and then walk over to the tills that are manned by an employee, like the machine, grab exact change, walk back, and just pay for it that way, and give me like the change back. And I'm on my way. Exact change back. Whatever. They get the required coins, and then I can pay for it that way. But it's pretty funny, but it was a few minutes. I don't want to say 10 minutes, but it was a while that a line definitely formed, and they were audibly complaining to themselves. And I apologize, but like, yeah. But essentially, I had paid for candy with shame. Causing a scene got me free stuff, basically. I mean, I kind of paid for it with incompetence, too. Or the scene was caused by poor planning on my part in putting the coins in the till. But if you ignore the part that makes me look bad, I've essentially gotten free, quote, free candy in exchange for just causing a scene, being a public spectacle. And I wonder how you could apply that to other stuff. Like, what if you could, like, pay for stuff with shame? Like, just the like, till is like, everyone look at this idiot. You want to buy that? Like, that name, this brand? Okay, Einstein, and everyone just points and laughs at you. I don't think that would work, but it'd be like a... It kind of ends at a thought experiment, because how does the company get any money from this? This is essentially just free stuff. And truth be told, like, yeah, a crowd kind of formed behind me, and I was holding up a till, or I was two things holding up the cash section of the self-checkout. But I'm gonna be honest, I've been in worse. I've been more of a spectacle to people who I knew. I assure you, Captain has been a much larger embarrassment to himself, and much more, like, severe times than just buying candy. I think it was definitely worth it. Because even at those times, I didn't get anything out of that. I got the story out of it, and I'll tell them maybe sometime. I actually have, one thing was whatever, not enough time. But this time, I get the story and the candy. Oh, the candy in question, if you were wondering, was fruit pastels. 2 bags of fruit pastels, sourish kind of gummy candy. Quite good. They should advertise it. It's worth the shame. Alright, I probably have a few more. I probably could go on for a little bit longer, but it's not the monthly show that I'm still testing on if I want to do or not, or deciding if I want to do. I probably will, just to see, just one-time thing. And if people like it, then I'll keep doing it for each month. But it's certainly not going to be a weekly thing. I'll tell you, I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. Anyway, thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Stay tuned to Gotham